So I wanted to come and talk about climate change because in woke, climate change is a big deal. I mean, you've heard about it for your entire life, probably 20, 30, 40, 50 years. They've been talking about climate change and Mother Earth. And the other day, people were celebrating Earth Day again. And I don't know when that started. I think it started in the 80s sometime, maybe 1980 or something. Kooky people. I mean, they're really kooky. The Earth has been around for billions of years. It's going to continue to be around billions more years after we're gone. And so to think that life cycles and all of that, but the Earth doesn't cycle and recycle itself over and over, you look through history and you see it's still here and it's not going to go anywhere. But the woke love climate change. Why? Because climate change, in the way that they view it, is a way to depopulate the Earth. Because again, woke is a top-down system that the people in power use in order to depopulate the Earth. That's what woke is. Woke is nothing more than a tool for people in power to use to depopulate the Earth. And so climate change is kind of a religion to them. It's one of the side religions next to LGBT and open borders and all the other things that also kill people. So I've got a couple of articles here that I found pretty interesting. The first one here is from Zero Hedge. MIT study, nuclear power shutdown could lead to increased deaths. So the brilliant people at MIT, and no doubt they are brilliant, they got into MIT, they have decided that if you shut down power plants, that you could kill an extra 5,200 people each year. So they extrapolated it out so that in 10 years, an extra 160,000 people would die. The reason? Because if you shut down the power plants, the nuclear power plants, you're going to need more coal and you're going to need more oil and fossil fuels, and it's going to dirty the air. You can't make this stuff up. It's going to create more carbon dioxide, the thing that we all breathe out. Every living creature basically breathes out. It's going to create more in the atmosphere, and that more is going to kill more people. You shut down nuclear power, and all of a sudden, because of carbon dioxide, another 160,000 people in the next 10 years die. Conversely, you shut down nuclear power plants, and what do we have? We have a lack of electricity. Now, this comes into play because this next article that I saw is John Kerry. And I know it's a little cropped on the screen here, but John Kerry says that people are going to lose their farms and their crops will be ripped away, their homes destroyed due to climate change. Well, the government is going to do that. Climate change is not going to do that. It's the government that's going to be doing that. So when you shut down the power plant, it's one of those things where more people die in cold weather than in hot weather. And John Kerry over here, his argument is, he says that John Kerry said voters should be most concerned about climate change because, quote, it's getting hotter and there's going to be more intensive weather events. Well, it's not going to hurt people if it does get a little bit hotter, but it's really going to kill them if it gets a lot colder, right? More deaths happen in the cold in the wintertime than in the summer or in the heat. So a little heat is not a bad thing. It's the cold. So imagine that you shut down the nuclear power plants. You have less electricity. You have to go dig more in the earth in order to find the coal and get the oil that people need in order to stay warm and live in the wintertime. And so these people here at MIT, they may blame the 160,000 deaths on extra CO2 in the atmosphere, but they leave aside the fact that people die in the cold. people people literally drop dead all the time in the cold. So for them, it's, shutting down the power plant, the nuclear power plants. It makes it seem like they're arguing against shutting down nuclear power plants, which I can only surmise that they're for. It's one of the cleanest, if not the cleanest, sources of electricity that we have, and I can only surmise that they do want it shut down. But they know that either way, they're going to win. You shut it down for just to shut it down, and you're going to kill people with CO2. Okay, they established 160,000. How many other hundreds of thousands, or tens of thousands even, you could go to a smaller number, are going to die because there's not enough electricity to continue the cold? Now, we saw a little bit about this in Texas a couple of years ago. Texas is a very rich state in oil and natural gas and things of that nature, but they've transitioned a lot to wind and to also solar. Well, a couple of years ago, they had a really bad winter, and the wind turbines froze up. They couldn't spin, and the solar panels, obviously there was no sun, and you have to have sunlight in order to power those things. And so the whole grid basically shut down. And the big concern was people are going to die. Huge winter storm in Texas. Now, John Kerry over here, he might think, well, the earth is warming up, and there's going to be more natural events, weather events like this in Texas. No, the problem is when you shut down coal and natural gas and drilling for oil, and you buy into this entire, we're going to power the world through wind and solar stuff, it's not real. It kills people. But what do the woke really want? They want to depopulate. So you've got the cleanest source there is, nuclear power, which they're totally against. Michael Schellenberger actually wrote a book about this. And I haven't read the book, but I want to read the book, and I am going to get the book just so I can read it. I like him. He was a real big environmentalist. He was way on the left until a light bulb went off, and I don't know when it did. Maybe the book will tell me. But the light bulb went off, and he went, "Wait a minute, we need nuclear. We need oil. We need coal. We need these things because these other things like the wind farms and all of this stuff is not going to save us." It's a different mentality when you think about life, when you think about people living because of these amenities and the things that we've created in order to survive better, than when you think we have to save Earth, which is all about depopulation and death. Now, there's one more thing about this. There's a lot of countries out there that are, you would say, third world countries. They are not going to subjugate themselves to a poor economy for the rest of their lives. They want to grow like America has, like China has, like Russia did at one time. They want to enter into a world where electricity provides them with opportunity. Because at the end of the day, electricity is opportunity. You're watching this on an electronic device surrounded by more electronic devices, and you have to charge them and everything else through electricity. Wind and solar is not going to get us there on its own. It's not bad to have. You want some secondary wind? Fine. That's great. Wind kills a lot of birds. Birds don't matter. So again, when you think about people saying this, and let's talk about John Kerry real quick. George W. Bush didn't do a lot of things right. I voted for him twice, but he didn't do a lot of things right. But he did beat Al Gore, a kook environmentalist who's made hundreds of millions of dollars being a kook environmentalist. And he defeated John Kerry. Can you imagine if in 2004, John Kerry would have became the president of the United States? I mean, it's insane. This guy still just flies all over the world in private jets. He's got the Heinz money and, hundreds of millions of dollars himself. And so it's okay for him to fly around and, they buy these carbon credits like they're really doing something. Really, all these people want, the woke all want one thing, and that's depopulation. We have to save the earth and we have to save the planet somehow. One of the ways that they want to do it is shut down nuclear power plants. And I'm certain that they're going to continue pushing for this. But, Michael Schellenberger, he's a smart guy. He's out here defending it, the power plants and things. I don't think it registers for a lot of people that depopulation is the real plan. They just think, oh, oil is bad, or, like the MIT study here. The reason they say don't shut them down is it could lead to increased deaths. But it will lead to increased deaths if you do shut them down. And it's not for those particular reasons that they say. They're smart. They probably have some idea. But it's not for those particular reasons. It's going to be, there's not enough electricity. People are going to freeze to death. So ancillary to the 160,000, add in 5, 10, 15, 20,000 more or better. It's going to happen. But that's the woke today. They have various religions. They have about 30 topics that they use in order to depopulate. And people are starting to realize, and I hope they are, I hope I have a part in letting them know that this is all about depopulation. Everything that they bring to the table is about depopulation. We're going to be talking about other subjects coming up soon. If you like this commentary, please like the video, follow, subscribe, share with your friends, and I'll talk to you soon.